Meanwhile, Revolut was celebrating a $45 billion valuation, and its founder, Nikolay Storonsky, was becoming Europe's richest fintech billionaire. In April 2025, Lithuania hit Revolut with a €3.5 million fine, the largest anti-money laundering penalty in the country's history, for failing to catch suspicious transactions. This is the story of how a man angry about a £12 sandwich built a bank that moves too fast to protect the people using it. Revolut changed banking, but thousands of customers and employees paid the price. Let's rewind to where this started. Christmas 2013, Heathrow Airport. Nikolay Storonsky, a Russian swimmer turned trader, buys a sandwich for £5 and gets charged 12. That moment sparked what would become Revolut. The irony: a man furious about bank fees would go on to build a bank that failed to protect customers from losing life savings to fraud. Before the app, Nikolay was training at Sunrise, 6 years old, chasing state swimming titles. By 14, he was a champion. When he lost, he'd disappear for days, too angry to speak. That hatred of losing became his operating system. Physics degree, finance masters, Lehman Brothers in 2006. When Lehman collapsed in 2008, he moved straight to Credit Suisse. At lunch breaks in Canary Wharf, traders complained about foreign exchange fees. 3% here, 5% there. To Nikolay, it was theft disguised as tradition. He realized banks were built on friction, and friction was profit. That £12 sandwich was the breaking point. On the plane to Moscow, he opened Excel and started building. What if users got the real interbank rate plus a transparent 0.5% markup? He took it to his manager. The reply? A laugh. That's how we make money, Nikolay. That laugh became the spark. But let's talk about who paid for that spark. By 2018, Revolut's office didn't feel like a startup. It felt like a trading floor where adrenaline replaced coffee and performance was public. Employees called it the treadmill. Slack would light up at 2 a.m., green dots everywhere. People grinding, chasing metrics that updated in real time on office screens. In 2020, Revolut's product function had a 38% turnover rate. The industry average? 10 to 20%. One former employee told Wired, "This job destroys your mental health with no support from the business." But the darkest moment came in Poland. April 2020, COVID-19 lockdowns. Approximately 50 employees in Krakow were called into meetings with HR. They were told, resign voluntarily today or we'll fire you tomorrow. No severance, no redundancy pay, and during a pandemic they'd lose their health insurance immediately. This wasn't just Poland. Over 100 employees across Poland and Portugal were pushed out this way.
It was a difficult culture at Revolut. Sink or swim, jump on the rocket ship or get off. It's not for everybody.
Why? Because voluntary resignations let Revolut avoid legal obligations. Storonsky's response when pressed? We hire missionaries, not mercenaries. To him, long hours weren't forced. They were the natural result of caring too much. Miss your targets twice? You were out. Ship fast or fade. Glassdoor reviews told two stories. The best learning curve of my life. No life outside work. In 2019, Storonsky publicly acknowledged past mistakes related to company culture, but the treadmill kept running. By 2024, over 1,000 employees had departed, some burned out, some pushed out, many just exhausted. The same fire that built Revolut's success burned the people who fueled it. Now let's talk about the customers Revolut claimed to protect. In 2024, Revolut received 9,793 complaints about authorized push payment fraud to the UK financial Ombudsman, more than Monzo and Barclays combined. Here are the real stories behind those numbers. Mr. S lost $16,900 to an investment scam. He made multiple payments through Revolut. The scammers posed as legitimate brokers. Revolut's systems flagged nothing. No warnings, no intervention. The financial ombudsman ruled Revolut should have stopped the first payment and ordered a full refund with interest. Mrs. Q lost £25,000 to a cryptocurrency scam. She made her first payment of £5,000. Revolut processed it instantly. The Ombudsman found Revolut should have questioned that first transaction. They assigned 50% blame to the bank. Mr. N lost £48,000 via a bank impersonation scam. Scammers convinced him his account was compromised. He transferred funds to a safe account. That safe account? controlled by criminals. Revolut recovered almost nothing. The Ombudsman initially upheld the complaint fully, but here's the pattern. Revolut denied almost every reimbursement claim initially. Customers had to fight through the Ombudsman process, which took months to get their money back. And while customers waited, another problem emerged.
Had 991 cases against Revolut, and we've never had a case where they've admitted their mistake.
The frozen account crisis. Thousands of customers reported accounts frozen for weeks or months. Revolut's fraud detection algorithms would flag accounts as suspicious and lock them instantly. No warning, no explanation, just an automated email. Your account is under review. One customer waited 90 days to access his own money. The intention was anti-money laundering compliance. The result was customer nightmare. Automated suspensions, prolonged resolution times, zero transparency. This wasn't a 2024 problem. Complaints about frozen accounts dated back to 2020. Revolut was moving fast and breaking things. The things it broke were people's lives.
You can't just move fast and break things in banking because you're dealing with people's money.
April 2025. The Bank of Lithuania hit Revolut with a 3.5 million euro fine, the largest anti-money laundering penalty in Lithuania's history. The violations? Failing to properly monitor transactions, inadequate customer due diligence, weak internal controls. Revolut's Lithuanian entity processed billions in transactions, but the systems watching for criminals couldn't keep up. Meanwhile, Revolut spent 3 years fighting for a UK banking license, 1,000 days of bureaucratic trench warfare. Storonsky hired ex-treasury officials, rebuilt every transaction monitoring system from scratch, poured millions into compliance. In mid-2024, the approval finally came. 42 binders of paperwork, 1 signature. Within a week, they launched 4.25% savings accounts, undercutting every high street bank. But here's the question regulators kept asking: can a company built on speed ever truly prioritize safety? The 3.5 million euro fine from Lithuania suggests the answer is no. So how did this happen? How does a bank designed to protect customers end up failing them? The answer is in Revolut's core architecture. The speed trap. Revolut built its entire system around one principle: instant everything, instant account opening, instant currency exchange, instant payments. Traditional banks take days to verify identities and flag suspicious activity. Revolut took minutes. That speed attracted 50 million users. It also attracted criminals. The algorithm problem: Revolut relied heavily on automated fraud detection, machine learning models that flagged suspicious transactions. But here's the flaw: the models were trained on historical data, new scam tactics. The system couldn't recognize them fast enough. By the time the algorithm learned, thousands of customers had already lost money. The scale problem. In 2015, Revolut had 300 users and 2 founders watching every transaction. By 2024, they had 50 million users across 38 countries. They scaled by deploying 20-person pods, miniature Revoluts that could launch a new market in 90 days. Each pod brought local payment integration, Pix in Brazil, PayNow in Singapore, early wage access in the US, but compliance didn't scale at the same speed. Customer support was outsourced, fraud investigations were automated, human oversight became a bottleneck the company tried to engineer away. The friction paradox. Remember Storonsky's original insight? Banks profit from friction. He removed friction to beat the banks. But some friction exists for a reason: to catch criminals, verify identities, protect vulnerable customers. Revolut removed all friction, and when fraud exploded, they had to rebuild it, but by then, the damage was done. This is the technical reality. You cannot move money at the speed of data without creating security vulnerabilities. Revolut chose speed. Customers paid the price. While customers fought for refunds and employees burned out, something else was happening. Success was attracting money. In 2024, Tiger Global, Coa2, and a Saudi sovereign fund poured in $500 million. Valuation? $45 billion, Europe's most valuable private fintech ever. Storonsky became a billionaire. The press called him the next Elon of finance. His response? We're still 2% of JP Morgan. But here's what that valuation really represents. Investors betting that Revolut's growth model, despite the fraud complaints, despite the employee turnover, despite the regulatory fines, is worth more than accountability, because in fintech, growth beats ethics every time. Revolut began reporting under IFRS standards, preparation for an IPO. The revolution was going public, and when it does, Storonsky and early investors will cash out billions. The customers who lost their savings, they'll get nothing. The employees who burned out, they're already gone. But Revolut isn't slowing down, they're doubling down. Storonsky doesn't see Revolut as a bank anymore, he sees it as an operating system for your financial life. They're rolling out an AI assistant named Rita. She'll analyze your spending, cancel unused subscriptions, file your expense reports. They're selling eSIM data packs. You can buy internet for your trip in the same place you swap currencies. Each move pulls another piece of your daily money life under one roof. Critics call it overreach. Storonsky calls it inevitability. But here's the danger. The more services Revolut adds, the more data they collect. The more data they collect, the bigger the target they become for criminals. And if their fraud detection couldn't handle payment scams, how will it handle identity theft across travel, telecom, and AI-powered financial advice? Revolut is building a super app on a foundation that's already cracking. The question isn't whether it will break, it's how many people will lose money when it does. So let's talk about consequences. Who paid for Revolut's failures? The customers. Thousands lost life savings to scams. Revolut should have stopped months fighting through the Ombudsman to get refunds, accounts frozen with zero transparency. The employees, over 1,000 departed due to burnout, 100 pushed into voluntary resignations during COVID, 38% turnover in product teams. The regulators, €3.5 million fine from Lithuania. FCA investigation still ongoing, 1,000 days to get a UK banking license. And Storonsky, he's a billionaire. In 2024, he bought a mansion in Monaco. He's preparing for an IPO that will make him even richer. No personal fines, no criminal charges, no accountability. In interviews, he acknowledges past mistakes but frames them as growing pains. We're building something that's never been built before, he says. And he's right. But what he's building isn't just a bank. It's a case study in how growth culture sacrifices people for profit and gets rewarded for it. That's the Revolut story. The one they don't put in the press releases. If you want more stories about the real cost of corporate success, subscribe, because every revolution has casualties and someone needs to count them.